Welcome to NBA Countdown presented by DoorDash.
It's Rivals Week in the NBA, and we will be counting you down to the Western Conference Finals rematch between two of the greatest scoring guards the game has to offer. Anthony Edwards and the Wolves look to extract revenge in Dallas against Kyrie and the Mavericks here. And then later, Steph Curry and the Warriors, they look to get back on track against De'Aaron Fox and the Red Hot Kings. In their last 16 matchups, these Northern California rivals are separated by just 1 point. And every point matters when you take a look at the Western Conference standings, right? Just 3 games separate the 5 through the 11 seeds, making tonight's rivalry games even more crucial. And speaking of rivals, look who we have in studio. Kendrick Perkins, back. Richard Jefferson is here in the building. Sinead Gumake, I won't make you pick a side.
No, we're friends over here. They're enemies.
Between these two. But I will ask you, Perk, we've officially crossed the midway point of the regular season. Who is the most surprising team? We just saw the standings, do you think, in the playoff mix?
In the play-in mix?
In the play-in mix, yeah.
It's the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? They're the most disappointing team, and the way that it's trending right now, they're on the verge of making the worst trade in NBA history, trading away Karl Anthony Towns. Right? This is a team that went to
the worst trade in NBA history.
Yeah, the way that it's trending, the team that went to the Western Conference Finals last year, and you trade away a guy that you drafted #1, a guy that showed up and showed out in the postseason also last year, and now you're in a nice spot. And everyone keep talking about, oh, Anthony Edwards, he's not attacking the basket, he's shooting so many three-point shots. He has no choice, because he's on the floor with Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle.
Jay Bilas and George Sedano. Mike Breen, take it away.
Mike Breen's there?
Malika, thank you. Welcome, everyone, to Dallas, Texas. Like a lot of cities across the country dealing with some winter blasts. But tonight at the American Airlines Center, it's Rivalry Week, a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals, Mavs and T-Wolves. Both teams, though, struggling right now. As we welcome you to NBA Courtside, presented by DoorDash. Currently, Dallas 7th in the West, but they're 1-4 in their last 5 games, trying to survive with Doncic missing his 14th consecutive game tonight. Minnesota 9th in the West, 2-4 in their last 6 games, trying to get back to last year's level when they made it to the conference finals. And good evening, everyone. With Jay Bilas, Mike Breen on hand, George Sedano with us as well. For the Dallas Mavericks, life without Luka obviously is not pleasant, as he's still out with that calf injury. But when you've watched this team recently, you still feel they can be as dangerous as they were last year?
I think they can be better than they were last year. Obviously, it's a different West than it was last year. Oklahoma City's better. It doesn't mean they're going to make the finals again when fully healthy. But fully healthy is not in the picture tonight for the Dallas Mavericks. So they're going to be leaning heavily on Kyrie Irving. And in the game Luka Doncic was injured on Christmas Day, Irving had 39 points against these Minnesota Timberwolves, coming off a 33-point game against Charlotte. But P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, Quentin Grimes, they're going to have to step forward and have big games.
Just have to keep their head above water until get some key players back. With the latest on that, let's check in with George. Hey, George.
Hey, Mike, how are you? Now, let's get an update on that injury situation, particularly with Luka Doncic. The Mavs are 4-9 in the 13 games that he hasn't played, but he will be reevaluated after that left calf strain he struggled from on Christmas and got injured with on January 25th. That's Saturday. And some more bad news, though, for the Mavericks is Derek Lively, a right ankle stress fracture. He'll be out 2 to 3 months, Mike.
All right, George, so that's tonight 7 rotation players not playing for Jason Kidd. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, clearly, Jay, they're not the same team as last year after the big trade. One constant, of course, has been Anthony Edwards, sensational once again. For them to get back to the level of last year, what has to happen?
You know, it's been a roller coaster ride all season long for Minnesota. Their defense has been good, maybe not as dominant as last year, but it's been their offense. They go through some droughts. They have not closed games as efficiently as they have in the past. But as you mentioned, Anthony Edwards has been fantastic. He's had a great January. The last 5 games, averaging 33 points, 48% from 3, and he's getting to the line a lot, just off an 18 free throw game, and he's averaging 9 free throws a game over his last 5.
These two teams have played each other twice already this season. The road team won both times. And, of course, last year, they met in the Western Conference Finals.
And here we go. Western Conference Finals. Doncic has the ball. For the lead. Got it! Got it! What a shot! Oh! Edwards!
Are you kidding me right now?
the Dallas Mavericks, Western Conference champions, 4-1.
NBA Courtside on ESPN is presented by Dash Pass, your door to all things basketball.
Wednesday night in Dallas, Texas, as we kick off our NBA doubleheader, starting with the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. Late arriving crowd as we look at our NBA Wednesday presented by State Farm. A little earlier start and crowd filing in. They had a huge car accident, actually a truck accident on one of the local roads, and people got tied up, so late arriving, but the crowd expected to fill in. Was the third and final regular season meeting between these two teams. Our starting lineups are brought to you by T-Mobile. Starting five for Chris Finch and the Timberwolves, a good veteran starting five. They've only had 3 different starting lineups all season, one of the lowest in the NBA. Meanwhile, for Dallas, with all the injuries, they've had 21 different starting lineups. Quentin Grimes starting, of course, with no Luka Doncic. And Olivier Maxence Prosper getting his first start of the season, his second career start. Jason Kidd is really shorthanded. Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves will try and overcome. Kyrie Irving's got a lot of work to do here tonight, Jay.
Well, Kyrie Irving has been outstanding, especially of late, coming off a 33-point game against the Charlotte Hornets. And the last time these two teams played on Christmas Day, after Luka Doncic was injured in the second quarter, Kyrie Irving went for 39 in that game, absolutely took over in the second half.
So Doncic is out, Dante Exum, of course, still out, Jaden Hardy is out, Dwight Powell is out, Derek Lively's going to be out a while, Klay Thompson's out tonight, Najee Marshall's out. That's 7 rotation players out for Jason Kidd, and they play Minnesota tonight, and they have Oklahoma City and Boston.
Nothing like a challenge for Jason Kidd and the Mavericks.
Meanwhile, both teams just trying to gain some consistency. The Mavericks a big part of it, obviously, the injuries. Minnesota just searching for that elusive consistency. They've been a solid road team this year. Game over 500 on the road. They won here earlier this season.
Quentin Grimes drawing the assignment on Edwards.
Gobert can't get it. Washington did a good job switching and helping.